Hey, it's James Relay. I just wanted to speak about this proliferation of women's movements and sexist women and women groups, basically in women vigilantism. I'm definitely against it. I don't think women need power. I don't think they need vigilantism. I'm not speaking from a script. I'm just spontaneously speaking from my heart. I've seen since my short lifetime, since 1975, I've seen people become more intelligent. I've seen machines gotten better as far as the computers. Definitely technology has increased. Everything has gotten more efficient. Everything has gotten technically way more complex. And what I'm saying is women's rights, the suffrage movement, all of these women's activities have grown to where women are being exceedingly rewarded as daddy's little girls, definitely, and men are being punished more than they ever have, I think. So I think it's unfair of this whole movement of Oprah, Michelle, and all these African women who have so much power, and all these white women who have become vigilantes. Like in all these films, you see white women now, since Linda Hamilton in The Terminator in 1984, and I like Linda Hamilton, she was a good actress. But what I'm saying is, women are supposed to stay women. And to me, it seems weird that women now have tried to transform themselves. Since the mid-70s, since the liberal mid-70s, since Pam Grier, and I like Pam Grier. But what I'm saying is, the women in that film don't represent most women. I think that women have gotten confused about the role of women in society. Because women's role, if the yin and yang is correct, women are supposed to be from heaven. They're yin, of the yin and yang symbol. Men are yang, they're from the earth, supposedly. But what I'm saying is, women are women. They're here to give birth. They were here to produce human beings. They're acting as God's agents to produce human beings and to have all the same things as men. But what I'm saying is, beside obviously the genitalia and the strength of men and some of the intelligence, but what I'm saying is, women are smart. I like women. I love women. I grew up with a sister. She was adopted. I'm not a mama's boy. I tolerate my mother. I love her, but I can't stand her. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. She's old. She's going senile. But what I'm saying is, women have to understand that women are women, and they're not going to be men. So I think all these women drinking Bang energy drinks, not that there's anything wrong with it beside the creatine in it and all the other bad ingredients that would give you cancer or a heart attack eventually, or shut your kidneys or liver down. Beside those things, I think people should just drink Mountain Dew Code Red or Mountain Dew Livewire. They'd be better off. Or Fanta if you don't like caffeine or something, orange soda, which is mainly water and sugar anyhow. But what I'm saying is, women have to go back to being traditional women who just want jobs, who want to love their husband and take care of their families, instead of this Oprah materialistic driven, Ellen kind of gay. I like Ellen. She's a nice person and she's funny. But what I'm saying is, this whole traditional straight women who cooked for their husbands, who took care of their families, who maybe got a job as a secretary, or they worked as their own business, they started their own business, doing whatever. The traditional conservative values of tradition and convention that actually work, of moderation. Instead of women becoming, gay vigilante sexists who hate men, who want to be radical French. And I like the French. I took some French, and I took 2 years of it on junior high. So je parle français. This isn't a beret, I don't think. But what I'm saying is, I can speak some French, but I like the French. But what I'm saying is, there's a revolutionary Muslim culture, but people get blown up in outdoor cafes there. So what I'm saying is, it's a beautiful country, though. But what I'm saying is that women need to go back to their traditional roles as being women, instead of being power-hungry, materialistic, sexist, murdering, racist people who want to say that women first, girl power, black girls rock only, and then be sexist, divisionists, who want to just blame white men, try to act like white men, which they'll never be, and then try to tell people that they're better than everyone. And I'm saying that's the same prejudice as the Nazis, isn't it? Seriously. They're trying to be something they're not. You know, women are trying to be men. They go to a gym and they train. Okay, so who's training them is a strong man, right? So men are the dominant species. This is how God decided it. I didn't, neither did Trump. Okay, so God wrote all of this. Women are the less dominant species by physical definition. They're not as strong, they're not as tall, they're not as muscular, and some of them aren't as smart. Okay, I love women. There's a lot of brilliant women, there's a lot of intelligent women, there's a lot of strong women, you know. But what I'm saying is men will always be dominant because that's how God wrote it. Okay, so what I'm saying is I'm seeing all these women do leg presses and try to get their thighs really big, and it makes them look even shorter. On Instagram, all these people are drinking Bang energy drinks, doing big leg lift presses, and then they're trying to do squats, these bench squats, you know, and they're doing all this weird, like, militant, you know, exercise, but none of them are working on the inside of themselves. They're all working on the outside of themselves. So I think they're all trying to be men, and I'm telling them, men don't just go to the gym five hours a day or 3 hours a day and just do leg presses and go to the range and shoot dressed in camouflage. They're trying to train seemingly for a war that's not happening. You know? I don't know. I don't know if it's the Israeli militant part of them or what, or the African rebel in them or what. But what I'm saying is it doesn't make sense, because all women have to do is get married, have children, get a job if they want to, and stay women. That's all they have to do. They don't have to run for president. They don't have to try to be men, because it's never going to work. They don't have to try to take over the world like Oprah by installing fake African dictators like Obama. They don't have to have sexist, racist award shows for themselves to say that they rock. I love African women, believe me. They do rock, but what I'm saying is they should still be inclusive of everyone instead of just saying, we rock and you suck. You know, we rock and that white person is the problem. You know, we rock and we're beautiful and we're great and we're so powerful, and we don't want equality, we want power. That's what they want, is power. They don't want equality. All of these things in the 60s, in the civil rights movement and in the women's suffrage movement, were about equality. They weren't about women's superiority and girl power and vigilantism. That's what I'm telling you, is they have to remember that they're being sexist and some of them are being racist. And that's exactly what they're trying to fight against, isn't it? So that's what it doesn't make sense, because I watch it and I go, all these beautiful women, and they've been propagandized to then go, we're better than everyone, and then we're sexist, and some of them are racist. And then they're separatists, saying, oh, well, screw that man, we don't need him. And I'm going, yeah, you do, because you can't all be gay, drunk rebels who are militants, who are materialistic women who just want to be lesbians, who just cut out the men out of your lives and then end up trying to run for president or own a book club and just be a drunk woman who's a lesbian vegan, reading books, going shopping, buying new purses and new shoes they can't afford, or new dresses they can't afford, and then saying they hate men, because they'll go extinct. Actually, what would happen is they would go extinct, unless they all got in vitro fertilization. That's true, because they need a man. Okay, that's what I'm saying, because they would need a man. Because that's the yin and yang. It's not just women. It's not just yin. So that's what I'm telling them. Is, you know, women have to, just like Africans, they have to just be equal. They're part of it. You're part of a community. You're part of your family. You're not supposed to be just the one person who has all the money, all the power, and all the superiority. It's not how it works. I think people have been deluded. Because even Linda Hamilton in the Terminator movie wasn't as strong as Arnold. There's no way a woman's going to be stronger than Mr. Universe from Austria. It's not going to happen. He was even stronger than Tony Atlas and Lou Ferrigno. Okay? And even if Arnold isn't the strongest person in the world, a woman's not stronger than him. God wouldn't allow it. Don't you understand? So all these women, just like all these movies, they're trying to become vigilantes, whether it's Lucy or whether it's that Pepper movie, whatever it was called. A vigilante, angry women who are now murderers, instead of just a woman who's a housewife. Because all of them want to take retributions instead of trying to change their own anger and trying to change their own behaviors. So they don't have to be the drunk, angry lesbian who just wants to go shopping and say that they hate men. Don't you understand? They have to forgive people if they're Christian. That's what they're supposed to do. They don't have to, it's their choice. But what I'm saying is they'll suffer if they don't. So you have all these women who are gay, drunk lesbians, who are materialistic, who want to run and get passports and run around the world, do leg presses, wear camouflage, go to shooting ranges with AK-47s, and try to act like feminine Rambos, and I'm going, but there's no reason to. You're not at war, are you? Well, they're at war with themselves, isn't it? Because I'm not doing that. Men don't sit around and do that kind of stuff. They don't go to the gym and just do leg presses, deadlifts, bench squats, jump up and down from one place to another, and then go, okay, at 4 o'clock I have to go to the shooting range and then shoot. Unless they work for the police or unless they're in some kind of militant, outfit or something like that. Unless they enjoy shooting. But what I'm saying is things are done out of necessity. But I think women are doing these things not out of necessity, they're doing it out of propaganda. Because they're trying to become the powerful men who have oppressed them, and I'm telling them men don't do that intentionally, and if they do, they shouldn't. But what I'm saying is, God is the one who wrote all of this stuff. So they say God first, and black girls rock, and white women rock, and we're going to be trying to rewrite movies as the woman Ghostbuster movie? That's a horrible idea. It's a bad idea because you can't take a man-based idea and try to turn it into a woman, just like they were trying to turn James Bond, which is traditionally a British male character, into an African woman. When it's a fictional character. Because of Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, and Oprah. They're trying to turn everything that was European white into an African woman. Even James Bond, who's a fictional character, who's a British man. Historically, that's what the character was written as since 1965 or whatever. That's what I'm saying. Is people have to go back to the traditional values in this country, in this whole global society. Men are men, women are women. Women can be lesbians who go to the gym, they can work out, they can do whatever, but I'm saying it's all excessive and it's not symmetrical. So if they don't have balance and they're doing excess, it's not going to work. They're not going to gain power, they're not going to become men, they're just going to be women drinking Bang energy drinks with big thighs, doing things they don't need to do when they need to be dating men, getting married, raising children, having jobs, being good wives and good mothers, and good, daughters and good sisters. That's what they need to do. They don't need to be creatine, steroid, androstenedione people working out excessively, trying to be, unless they're working out to be wrestlers or they're trying to join the military or they're trying to win workout competitions, there's no reason to. People are doing things for no reason, and they've deluded themselves with propaganda that could never work. Because if they can't accept themselves as a broke woman, how are they going to accept themselves as a rich woman? If they can't accept themselves in the way the world is as an African woman, how are they going to accept it as a rich African woman? If they can't accept themselves as a broke maid like Oprah did, how are they going to accept themselves as the president? It's not going to happen. It's a men-based society that's based in men being the man of the house, being the father, and being the manager. And now they're trying to say it's history. So everything that they've learned has been taught to them from men. There were Greek goddesses, certainly. You had Aphrodite, you had Venus, and the African ones, Nefertiti, all these beautiful queens, Queen Hatshepsut or whatever, all these beautiful women, all these powerful women, and God divinity. But what I'm saying is this. Even Jesus Christ had his Mary mother, whether it was his mother or his love of his life or whatever, Mary Magdalene. What I'm saying is this, but the main story is Yeshua, Jesus, isn't it? So that's what I'm saying. It's always the man is the central character. It's the man of the house. That's the way it's going to stay. It's not all going to become an after-school Oprah show or a talk show or some kind of diluted woman-centric, African-based woman-centric society. It's not going to happen. Unless you go back to Africa, and then the men still rule Africa also, don't they? So they're trying to do things that will never work, that have never happened in history. And I'm telling them it's not going to work. They will be stopped and negated, not by me, but by God's plan. Don't you understand? It's a waste of time because people don't understand what their role is on this earth. Is women have told themselves, we used to be negated and we used to suffer, and now we have to own everything. Now we have to cut men out. Now they have to be entrepreneurs. And I'm saying, no. You have to get married, you have to raise children, because that's how human beings survive. That's how the human race doesn't go extinct. Is being lesbian is fine, but you can't be lesbian, sexist, racist, vegan, and then run up your credit cards and then fly around the world with passports and then ask men to bail you out. Because that's what they end up doing. And then the companies that they're getting sponsored by will go bankrupt because daddy's little girl can't, stop spending money. Isn't it? Isn't that what would happen? Isn't it? Because these women want to live like princesses and then say that they want everything and that men are to blame. And I'm telling them that none of that is normal. When European women live like communists, usually, no, but it's not so funny. They, you see them at wherever, buying stuff with coupons, and they're living way below, excess level. Right? So I just had to speak on it because I'm just tired of seeing women become sexist, racist people who hate white men or hate men, and then they become vigilante murderers in these movies when in reality they don't need to do any of that. Retributions is not going to change them into a powerful man ever. Never. This society is not going to become woman-centric ever. It's never going to become that. It's never going to be women president only. It's never going to be, they can be president, but what I'm saying is women are too emotional. They always have to pee, and they're always cold. Okay, I know that because I've lived with women my whole life. Okay, so men are more practical, even if they break the rules more. They end up delivering the goods, they end up getting the job done. So do women in certain instances, but what I'm saying is, I have total respect for women, but what I'm saying is they have to understand that they're women, and that they're always going to be women. They'll never be men. It doesn't matter how many leg presses they do, it doesn't matter how many guns they shoot, it doesn't matter how much camo they wear, it doesn't matter how many times they train at the gym with some steroid-addled androstenedione guy. They're never going to be men, and it's like a bad impression when women try to be men. Even if they shave their heads, they put on pantsuits, and they start yelling like politicians. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Or they want to be, Linda Hamilton gym people, and now they're the new Terminator. Come on. Really? I thought you were just supposed to be housewives, secretaries. You can be whatever you want to be. But what I'm saying is you're supposed to be women, which is supposed to be feminine, which is supposed to be soft. It's not supposed to be hard. That's men. Men are supposed to be hard. Men are supposed to protect children and their families. Men are supposed to do the heavy lifting, all the labor. Not all of it, but the heavy lifting and protect their families, right? That's what men are supposed to do, and many other things. Obviously, so are women. But what I'm saying, and educate themselves and benefit their communities, all that kind of stuff. But what I mean is, like, everyone has to do the same things as human beings universally, but there are roles that are dedicated to men and women that will never change. And I think since the 60s, people have tried to play Freaky Friday or, confuse themselves with these roles to try to change what it is. And I'm going, the wheel is always going to be round. So they're trying to change the roles of men and women in society, and things have gotten confused. Because now people aren't even sure what gender they are. And I'm saying, how couldn't you be? It's pink for girls and blue for boys, isn't it? Or pink for women and blue for men, isn't it? No, it's that simple. In my generation, it was very simple. You were a guy or you were a woman. Even if people were gay. It's like, okay, so you're a gay woman, you're a man. Okay? And if most women are gay, fine, but they still have to get married and procreate. That's what I'm telling you. They have to understand who they are, because what women have done is confuse themselves, and now they're becoming sexist, racist, vigilantes who do leg presses, deadlifts, dress in camo, go shooting at the shooting range, and want to take over the role of men, and I'm going, you're never going to. And I love women. I need a girlfriend. I need a wife. I need, women friends, and I have them on Instagram, and I'm going, I love women. But don't hate men who love you. Don't you understand? Because I'm always going to be a man, and they're always going to be a woman. And I don't think I'm superior to them, even if God